Now today we'll be tackling something that has affected you and I as Nigerians, something we've gotten to experience personally over time. Even if you've not had a personal experience with it, you've probably known someone who has been affected by it. We're talking about the excessive or the just recent lots of oil tanker explosions that has, ravaged the country, for the past weeks and months now. And it's quite excessive at this point in time. Now, according to the latest statistics from the Federal Road Safety Corps, said Nigeria has recorded over 350 oil tanker explosions in the past 3 years alone, resulting in the loss of over 2,000 lives and injuries countless. In 2022 alone, the country witnessed 120 oil tanker explosions, claiming the lives of over 500 people. The economic implications are equally staggering. Now, a recent report by the Nigerian Insurance Association estimates that the country loses approximately 15 billion naira annually to oil tanker explosions. Beyond the statistics, what lies more in our heart is the human cost. Families torn apart, communities shattered, and lives completely changed forever. Just last weekend, Nigeria witnessed yet another devastating oil tanker explosion at the Diko Junction in Niger State, which claimed the lives of several people and left many injured. Now, this incident came barely a month after a similar explosion that occurred in Jigawa, resulting in the loss of several lives and properties as well. Let's not forget we had the one in Asaba that also caused loss of lives and property. A man lost his wife. We had the story here on Trust TV. Now, this has brought, to the fore the urgent need for an action to take place, regarding these explosions. What can be done? Are there solutions that can prevent these explosions or at least mitigate it to the barest minimum? And there's also a school of thought that said since subsidy was removed, is it that people became a lot more desperate to have access to fuel? This tanker falls and people are going to scoop because they know that getting it is expensive. So they have to have a free access to it. In the process, something happens and there's an explosion and lives are lost. Even if whether people are there to scoop or not, you still find the explosion taking place because of how volatile petrol can be, or even diesel. So putting all of this together, I would love to hear your thoughts. What can be done? We'd love to hear your concerns. Do well to call in. The numbers will be displayed on your screen shortly. Call in or send us a message via WhatsApp and we're here to listen. What do you think can be done by the government? Have you been personally affected by it? If you know you've been affected by it one way or another, do well to call us. Or someone who has been affected by it, do well to call in and let's hear your story and have a discussion this morning.
All right, we would also like to hear from safety experts. There's surely something that can be done. We are not the only country in the world where petroleum tankers have to move product from one point to the other. We are not even the biggest country in the world where that happens. The reason why these explosions are far more frequent in our country is something that should bother everybody. And so we want to hear from safety experts. Safety on the part of the tankers. Maybe you can also educate us on what we need to do. We cannot overemphasize the need for people to stay clear when incidences like this happen. I don't understand the desperation. In the case of Suleja, we understand that a family of 6 were engulfed in that fire. I don't understand what kind of profit you intend to make from something that has the capacity to take your life. How much at worst case scenario is a liter of fuel? How many liters can you even possibly scoop? And what can that do for you? At the risk of appearing like we are rubbing salt to injury, especially on the face of those who have loved ones, it happened in Jigawa. We lost so much. And you would think that with the kind of coverage that report received, that you would not see a repeat. I mean, it's less than 1 year down the line. We are agonizing over another incident in nearby Suleja. And we have seen several of these incidents across the country, where tankers slip over and people are rushing, sometimes rushing with metal buckets on a tarred road, all that impact. Could just spark a fire. Some careless person could just be smoking somewhere. In fact, the fire could spill, like in this case, it happened on a market day. And we know how market days are in this part of the world, where you could have people who cook right there and sell and all of that. Anything could spill to that point, and the fire could just track back to every other area of the spill. So it's really a pathetic situation, and it's one that calls for worry. We have our first caller this morning. Good morning. Your name and where you're calling from?
Good morning. Please, can you turn down the volume of your TV set and talk to us through your phone?
Okay. Good morning.
Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
My name is Sule Mayaki. I'm calling from Bida in Niger State.
Mr. Mayaki, good morning, and it's good to hear your voice from Bida.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
In fact, I'm so much interested in the topic of this fire tanker explosion.
Thank you.
If I intended to even write a paper on it, because if you look back, you think down 90s, 80s, 90s, there was nothing like a tanker explosion. Fuel was conveyed by the rail. And I hope the government should look into that and resume transportation by rail. By the time they're able to do that, that will reduce this tanker explosion. Secondly, there should be a law banning the tankers carrying fuel through major cities. They should create a bypass so that if there's any problem, at least it will be at least the lives claim will not be much compared to what we've experienced.
Yeah, Mr. Mayaki, can you hear me?
I can hear you clearly.
Your voice seems to be breaking, like you're listening to yourself. But I have some questions for you. Some of the suggestions that you have made, especially with rail and bypass, are not things that can happen tomorrow. They will require investment, they will require funding, and they require time. On the interim, these tankers have to move. Isn't there anything we can do to ensure that lives and properties can be safeguarded?
Well, yes, but in those days, the trains were working, at least they move forward. The only thing, at least we still have rail in some areas. All the government have to do is to at least revitalize those rails. And if no passengers, let it be for only the petrol.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayaki.
Like you rightly asked him, I was also going to say that these are long-term solutions. Creating a bypass. We know how long it takes the federal government to fix normal federal roads or even create new roads. It takes years and years of delegation and approval. I'll talk more of creating a bypass.
I can assure you that where this incident happened was even a bypass. I know that place like the back of my palm. It wasn't inside Suleja town or inside Dakota. It was a bypass to hit the Kaduna-Abuja expressway. Hello, good morning. Your name and where you're calling from?
Good morning, Mr. Sunday.
Good morning.
Good morning, Lilian.
Good morning,
Shetima calling from Maiduguri.
Good morning,
Thank you very much, Mr. Shetima. I remember that one of these incidents of tanker explosions of fire happened in Maiduguri, but that was a long time ago. But go ahead and share your perspective with us.
As my brothers just dropped the phone have made a good suggestion. Of rail should be conveying the product and also to create bypass. But as you said, it is right. This is a very huge investment and it will be time consuming. But I think the immediate solution is for the tankers not to ply the road until when it was night. At the night time, let them ply the road. And if they come to the city, when the day break, they should stop at the gate or at the entrance of the town Late when it was night again, they will enter and drop the product for the station. But during the daytime, you can see, Mr. John, our road is not good. All this hold up and all this bad road, it is the major cause of all these all these accidents. And sometimes a tanker try to dodge a follow-up and another vehicle is coming. That's why all these clashes is happening. They should try and revive the road and make the road to be more tolerable to avoid all these incidents. And also, as I said, let's be convenient at night time when nobody was on the road is free. They should bring the fuel into the town. That could be better. But as you said, when it was an issue of rain here in Maiduguri, we don't have rain again. Sorry, we don't have train again. No, we don't have train again. Then it was the only in the only days. But the immediate solution to me is let them ply the road at night when the road is free. That's my text.
Thank you very much, Shatima, for those wonderful suggestions. You talked about plying at night. At night, the temperatures are much lower. So it's like you rightly mentioned, it would appear the best to travel, and then there will be less hassles on the roads. The markets would have closed. All of those blockages on the roads will not be there. Of course, the gallops will remain, but maybe they will help them manipulate better. There are several other safety measures that we can look at, but before we take more calls, we would like to share these short video clips with you. One before the fire incident in Diko, and another one where people were scooping fuel in Bidda. That's not a scene that you want to encourage even your worst enemy to get into.
Funny how I've witnessed that before. It happened in Calabar one time. We were lucky it didn't explode. My dad actually just took us out of the scene immediately. And the way they were rushing, and people they themselves were parking, were saying it will soon explode, hurry up. And that's the mindset they have towards scooping fuel. But two things have stood out for me through this conversation we've had so far this morning, and it has always stood out for me is okay, this is the second one we have before the explosion in Bidda. Look at them running. This happened yesterday in Bidda. Look at them running. See someone with a stainless bowl there, a woman going to scoop fuel. So two things stand out for me for this is, are the people properly educated and informed about the dangers of this? Knowing that this will explode due to what it is you're doing and you're going to get killed. And I would say they know. Do they need more communication in their indigenous languages? Because they're experiencing it, they're seeing it happen literally. So why would you keep going in when you see this happen every time? And the next thing that also stood out for me is the attitude of the drivers. We might want to say all we say, but have you seen tanker drivers? There's recklessness for regular cars and there's recklessness for tanker drivers. Try traveling on the road and driving past someone.
I think it is safe to say that the problem is it's something that encompasses a lot of things. First of all is the condition of the roads. Looking at that picture, I can safely point to a place or two in Bida where possibly that will happen. I can imagine the state of the road, which is the reason why these vehicles trip over anyways, especially when they carry loads. So the even distribution of weights as the tires try to look for safe places to pass could just give way to this tripping. So even if they were passing at night, there were no guarantees that they could pass those places safely. The second thing is the condition of the tanker. There is what we call pressure safety valves. These tankers are not an entire open chambers of 33,000 kilometers or 45,000 liters. Yes. They are broken into smaller chambers. They are supposed to have a valve that prevents return when it tumbles.
Okay.
These valves are not there. So every time this incident happens, it's just a free-for-all. gush, and then you get people trying to scoop. Good morning, your name and where you are calling from.
Good morning, my name is Afolabi. I'm calling for Nigeria. Good morning, Ogazi. Good morning, Lilian.
Good morning,
Afolabi.
It's a pleasure to hear your voice again, Afolabi. Please go ahead.
My own contribution to this issue, I would believe these tankers are going beyond their limit. You will see a tanker carrying a fuel of 70,000 liters, some 6,000 liters, and the capacity of the road we have cannot even accommodate that. Who is checking all this? Sometimes if you travel by this road, you will even think we only have tankers in Nigeria. There is no other cars or no other motors running on this interstate.
Absolutely.
The last week I went to this Mokwa. I was in Hodo for more than 2 hours. 2 hours within Mokwa to Bida. And what happened was the same tankers. So to me, I don't believe that we don't have these people, these marketers or these major marketers or the independent marketers. They should force them to use the rail. At least they have the money. That the rail that link from Lagos to Kaduna. Let reduce all this nonsense they are doing on the road. Let their goods move by rail. If they have to do it by PPT, we have PPT now. They can all put all this together. Let them use the PPT. Put all these rails and then they should transfer their goods. And if that's going to take a time, just as the first scholar said, they should create a bypass. Or they should travel during the night. I think it was even in Lagos. You can't come in during the daytime due to their congestion there. You can't come in during the daytime. Why not other states doing so?
Sure.
So this is other suggestion, but for permanent solution, all these tankers, all these heavy, not even the tankers only, all these heavy cars, they should transport their goods by the rail. Because if we put all these tankers much together, we can put our oil into use. But the rail is there, is not in use, and we keep having issues, and people are losing their life.
True.
God bless Nigeria.
Thank you very much, Afolabi. And I understand the passion with which you're speaking. Anybody who understands the transport network in this country will know how significant Niger State is to the connection between the south, the southwest, and the north. Practically everywhere in the north. The goods and fuel going to Sokoto, going to Kebbi, going to Zamfara, going to Kaduna, going to Kanu, and all whatnot. Even some coming to Abuja would have to use this route.
Explains
the
why the
state is a gateway to several parts of this country. And so east, west, north, and south, you can't run away from fixing these things. And incidentally, they also have a rail system leading up to Mina. So, I mean, the suggestions that are coming from callers in Niger State is not completely out of place. It's understandable. Good morning. Your name and where you're calling from?
Good morning. Do we still have the caller on the line? Good morning. All right. It seems. Can you hear us? Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from if you're still there.
I'm Adekawi.
I didn't get your name.
I'm Olubumi Adekawi by name.
Mr. Olubumi, thank you very much for joining us. Where are you calling from, please?
I'm calling from Ogun State.
Great to hear your voice from Ogun State this morning. Please go ahead. By the way,
Niger State is a sudden event, and I pray something of that nature will not happen in our country again.
Amen.
What I see, or what I think each government can do, each state government can do is that, for example, I witnessed one at Ikorodu one day. A tanker like this fell down. Before 2 minutes, the firefighter is already there. And nobody that is trying to scoop all these for some of nature. They have put that thing that we not allow it to catch fire. They were there. The police are there. So I think they need to educate some people concerning it. It's very dangerous. When you say you are hungry and you are already going to heaven, please, we plead to all Nigerians, especially in the north, All these things, so it concerns everybody in the whole country.
True.
No, not one state. They should please, anytime that tanker is falling, they should not even near it again. They should not near it again. So that's my contribution. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
You are doing a great job.
Thank you very much, Mr. Folabi. I understand you perfectly, especially coming from Ogun State, that is also the gateway to the south, and housing several factories in Nigeria. You can imagine the volume of trucks that operate within and around Ogun State. So the fears he has expressed and the concerns he has raised are very germane, one we should really pay attention to. He talked about educating the populace, and we cannot do that enough. There is no amount of hunger that should take you close to a tanker explosion.
Well, before we go on, let's quickly take some WhatsApp messages we have. The first message, he didn't put his name, but we'll take the message. He said, "Good morning, all. The tanker drivers should avoid reckless driving and should limit the liters of petrol and gas in the tank. The government should enforce a law about the speed limit of the drivers."
All right, we have another caller. Good morning. Your name and where are you calling from?
Good morning. I am Usman Ibrahim. I'm calling from Niger.
Again from Niger. Good morning, Ismail Ibrahim. Please go ahead.
Okay. Thank you for having me this morning.
Thank you.
Hello.
Usman, go ahead. We can hear you loud and clear.
I think the issue of tanker explosion in Nigeria has become a worrisome ever face. And I think the necessary thing that the relevant agency should do is to, first of all, track the rail station that is supposed to be taking these heavy materials, the products, instead of applying through the routes, so that it will reduce the level and burden of the roads, Nigerian roads. And also for the security agents, and also the responsibility of the government to enforce and involve the national orientation agency, because we Nigerians sometimes we lack a lot of things that will keep us alive. These tankers are not trailers of grain or rice that we should think because of the trailer that fell down, we should go and fetch foods. These are petroleum products which cannot consume at a time. I think it's better for Nigerians to be aware and stay alive, and for the part of government to reinforce and put more effort, so that if we can revive our rail so that every product should be passing through this channel, I think it's going to assist and reduce the level of these damages and such. That's my point.
Sure.
Thank you so much. Like you said, this really does hit home for the people in Niger State, because they're the ones experiencing it firsthand. But the attitude of the citizens is something that I question. There was a video that was trending one time where a Dangote truck had issues on the road and people were going to go and pack the products from the truck. I would say looting. There was
one with Coca-Cola also.
And people were looting. So these people are ready to loot anything, not minding if it's at risk to them.
We can blame the economic situation in the country all day, but there is no moral justification for wanting to loot people who have been involved in an accident. I mean, especially in a country where there are no goods and transit insurance. It's not like there are none, where people don't take it, as a way of cutting costs. Good morning. Your name and where are you calling from?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, you are speaking with Buhari from Niger State.
Thank you very much, Mr. Buhari from what part of Niger, to be precise?
Lapai, to be precise.
Okay, Lapai, which is another route connecting Bida and Suleja. Go ahead, please.
To Bida, yeah. So actually, the other speakers have spoken my mind in one direction. Especially Shetima and some other speakers. But what I need to say, or another view that I think I want to look at, is that there is need for serious community enlightenment and that has to start from the national level. I know the National Orientation Agency has a vital role to play in that regard. We have 774 local governments. I think it will not be that kind of a kind of highly, it will not be like if you want to fix road now, it needs money, a lot of money to do that.
True.
But we need just little money to go around, sensitize people using National Orientation Agency for people to know that whenever we have that kind of tank failure or we have that kind of issue, going there to scoop fuel is highly dangerous because we know that this product is highly inflammable. And to get quick results, we have to involve traditional institutions. These are very people, there are people that are very close to the grassroots. If you use traditional institution, community to community, you call people, the traditional ruler will call people and sensitize them, tell them that if this thing happens, nobody should go closer to it. By so doing, I believe the risk of people losing their life will reduce by minimum.
I agree with you.
So that is just the area I want to. So we need that community engagement seriously.
All right, I agree with you. I wanted to ask you a quick question. Are you still there?
Oh, I'm still there.
You talked about achieving quick results, and we're talking about National Orientation Agency. For states that are prone to this kind of thing, Niger State to be particular, they stretch from Mokwa down to Bida,
Yes.
if you like, to Zungeru, upwards to Kontagora, or through Tegina to Kaduna, or through Lapai to Sileja. And all. Don't you think a state like Niger State should make it its own cardinal responsibility rather than wait for a National Orientation Agency? Similar to Oyo, everywhere from Ibadan down to Ogbomosho, down to Jeba, are all places where whenever you are traveling, you see over 1,000 trailers or tankers, you know, on the road. Don't you think states like this should take it upon themselves to educate its own people, especially on that corridor? Yeah.
Yes, sir, you are right, but it has to be a. Yes, you are true, but it has to be a deliberate collaboration between federal and state. In Niger State, the Minister for Information is from Niger. We have a DG, National Orientation Agency in Niger State. At least they can make a collaboration between them and the state. Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Well, still in the spirit of education of the citizens, we have a WhatsApp message here from Ebenezer Elliott. He said he's writing from Ondo State. The citizens lack information concerning the issue of tanker explosion and economic hardship. That's from Ebenezer Elliott, which is exactly what our caller here from Niger State has said similarly. So, and you also mentioned it, why wait for the federal government when this can be done interstate? And the National Orientation Agency, when you talk to them, they will tell you we have pamphlets that are in indigenous languages. And I wanted to ask him, have you seen any? So well, it's about time. We want to know more. What are you actually encouraging and putting this orientation on? Government policies, people have no idea about it. Increased tariffs, people have no idea about it.
Pamphlets are dated means of telling these kind of stories. You have to tell these stories with a consequence. And we have invested enough pictures that should send fears down the spine of anybody who's got conscience left. So you have to develop some of this material into an audio-visual material to help in telling stories. People are more likely to run away from the consequence they can see than just telling them don't do. They can't imagine what the consequence is. In Ondo State, where this last caller, wrote from, there are parts of Ondo State when you go past Owo, it's like a hill. You climb before you arrive at the Akoko Edo area connecting.
Hill with a tanker.
Every time you get there, you will see tankers rolling back.
Yeah.
You are lucky when you are passing and there is no activity. And you will see all kinds of checkpoints, tankers wrongly loaded with additional loads on them. They have firewood, they have keke napep, they have all kinds of things tied to them. And once they get to you and they pass that 500 or 1,000, you don't do anything to check those load factors or insist that a tire that is bad, that has forced the tanker to be traveling like this, they fix them before they continue. You just collect 500 and let them go. You just pass the rigs to the next community. They keep passing them. If you are lucky, they pass them to their final destination before these people take the time to fix any of those imbalances or whatever it is wrong.
No, so at this point, I would say it cuts across from the attitude of the tanker drivers to the attitude of the owners of these tankers, down to the people we have on the road in the name of security agents and road safety, down to the lack of orientation for Nigerians and the attitude of citizens and the bad road. So it cuts across. It cuts across.
And nobody takes, so you hear incidences like this and that's all you hear.
Sure.
And there are no payments for damages. Nobody is arrested for, driving something that is not roadworthy. I mean, side by side, you see this kind of tankers driving by, and it is you whose car appear to be all right, with one or two visitors that the road safety will be jumping into your vehicles. For them, of course, the sticks they hold on the road can't do anything to the tankers, and they just have to let them go, especially if you have 500 or whatever to park with. It's the same thing that happened in the eastern part of the country. If you go between Owerri and Port Harcourt.
I know
it's an expressway that should take you about 45 to 1 hour to travel, but you end up using 4 hours on that road.
Here to Owerri as well.
Same
that
thing.
Dual expressway
Same
is
thing.
a problem.
Onitsha. Same thing. Bini-Ore, same thing. So it's I mean, so much to be done.
All right, we've said a lot, and we hope that everyone who is meant to be held accountable would be held accountable. I would say we're waiting for the NOA to come and speak on the orientation they are doing for basic and little issues like this in Nigeria. We're looking forward to that day. We'll also have you to join in on the conversation and let them know that this thing you say you have done, we've not seen it. We're actually really looking forward to that because a lot needs to be done and it cuts across everybody. Well, having said that, we've come to the end of this segment. So we're going to a quick break. When we get back,